So watch this. My head goes into his head, his hand goes into his belly. I got a good key lock. I pressure into him, and I just shoot my right leg underneath and let him roll right over me. Wrestling is a big part of our fighting knowledge, if you will. In all three systems, I expect all my people to have wrestling knowledge. Wrestling is a part of fighting. If you're a jiu-jitsu person, a shuri karate person, who we're a complete fighting system, or of course American shoot wrestling, you have wrestling knowledge. You have to have wrestling knowledge. Two main reasons to have that. Number one, wrestling is just a part of fighting. Number two, the knowledge of what may be coming at you gives you that much more preparation to defend. So we're going to start off with a body lock twist. It's a Grecco Roman technique from a 50-50. Now in a fight situation, Eric can throw a haymaker with that hand at me. I can come in here and we're in 50-50. So this could happen in competition, this could happen in fighting, this could happen in almost all areas of martial arts or combative technique. So I'm going to keep his hips out, of course. However I decide to do that, if he gets his hips in, he has what I have, he's going to launch me. When the timing's right, I'm going to come up, I'm going to get my body lock and step in deep with my hip and lock his chest to my chest. And then I'm going to take a little short step back with my rear foot and turn to the mat. We're in 50-50 here, or an over and under. You want to make sure that his hips don't come in. You want your hips in when it's time to get them in. I might be waltzing in here. I might be acting like I'm going to do something, and suddenly I step in. When I step in, I drop my level, I get my hip in, and I lock his chest to my chest. I take that little short step back, rotate, and that easily brings him to the mat. From here, there's a variety of techniques that I can attack with. So one of my attack techniques, I'll show you from a different position. So we'll lock up, over and under. I'm faking here, I'm making it look like I'm going to do something else. Keeping his hips out. Take that deep step in, get low on him, get his chest in my chest. Turn. Now I'm going to come up, high, pressure his head down, step over, and reach back. And I have his right arm under my arm here in an arm bar. This also can turn into an arm bar here. To get this arm lock, most of the time you have to come up onto his body to find the leg here. And then sit back and attack. Hand fighting here. I have an overhook or a whizzer on this side. I'm fighting his other hand out. His head's a little low. I'm thinking of getting a front headlock. I got a great throw from there and a great finish. So I'm going to try to hit it. I'm going to step away, turn away, and drop my shoulder. That brings his head below my shoulders. That means it's a good time to throw my chest on his head and get that front headlock. I'm going to throw him over the side that has his arm trapped. So this arm is not trapped, so he isn't going over on this side. The other side is trapped. So he's going over my left shoulder. So I sit in and I crank his neck by pulling his chest up into mine and cranking his head down and sitting in. And as I sit in, I lean a little bit towards this side and he goes over. Notice that I shot the underhook on this side. I also have the other arm under control. So if he tries to take his arm out, I have a hook there. My wrist is very strong and I have a hook there. I'm going to step over that arm if I can and start to come out almost as if I could sit out. Now I have a neck crank here. There's a lot of pressure on his neck. If he was real flexible, I'd sit all the way out. I probably won't get it. Here I go. A lot of pressure on the neck. So please be careful with your buddy. So I'm going to whizzer into him. That brings his head down. If his head gets down below my shoulders, then I attack. I don't. If he's a little higher up and I reach up, Eric will do a duck under and he'll take my back. So I want to make sure that his head gets low. Even if it's for a second, I can throw my body weight on it. My head leans to this side. I'm going to throw him over my left shoulder. Pressure down on his head. Here's my underhook. Here's my overhook. My leg comes over. And now I have him here. I start to sit through. He's already tapping, can't complete the sit through. Again, we're in a hand fight situation. Eric gets a collar tie. He might have had a collar tie, was throwing punches at me. I get this post in here. It might be a grappling situation, competitive jiu-jitsu, whatever it is. And I'm gonna tie his hands up here and find my Russian. So my Russian 2-on-1 comes here. I'm gonna look behind me, shrug my shoulder, step in, pop his arm, and I'm gonna key lock this Russian here. I'm gonna lock it up. And I'm gonna shove it right into his belly and roll under him, Uchimaki Komi. I could also crank his arm this way. I find there's more success when you get him to push into you a little bit, and then you drop right under him. So watch this. My head goes into his head, his hand goes into his belly. I got a good key lock, I pressure into him, and I just shoot my right leg underneath and let him roll right over me. So he rolls over me, my chin goes into his shoulder here, and I pull his arm back and out. And start cranking with the Kimura here. Now watch this. Chin is right into his shoulder. He goes to turn away. Can't get it. Even if he does, I'll take his back. I got a good position on him. Because of the Kimura, he can't turn into me. I'll give you the opposite position here. He's got a good collar tie on him. He's got a lot of control. I'm gonna shrug my shoulder, look behind me, step in a little bit, and pop his arm with my arm into my other hand. Key lock, pressure in. Get my throw. Watch, chin into the chest, hand behind, and crank. Different finish. I push his face away so he can't look back towards me. I hook his wrist with this hand. My far leg comes in deep. My other leg starts to come up, and I mount his head, and I finish here. If you come around, you'll see this angle where I have 2-on-1, and I have a good trap on his arm. Very hard to escape this. So it was here, locked it up with 2 hands here. And we could go to head scissors here, if that were ever to get away. Always control this hand, try to keep control over it. So he only has 1 hand to escape. I just straighten my legs out where it's legal.